4 seconds left. Burrow dials it up. Touchdown! Jamar Chase!
They turned it into a one-on-one route against Ahkello Witherspoon, and the timing between Chase and Burrow, we've known it since LSU. It continues here at Cincinnati. Evident that ball's out of his hands on the break.
Trying to complete the route. McPherson, it's blocked! What a turn of events! Minkah Fitzpatrick! A slow snap, and the whole operation took too long.
Perfect description, because that timing, that ball usually is back there with dispatch. Boom, into the hands of the holder. You described it perfectly. It took more time in the air to get there, which allowed Minkah Fitzpatrick that extra step. And he gets a hand on it. And hello, extra football.
Trubisky over the middle. Freiermuth. Clock is moving. 14 seconds left. They're going to clock it with 8. So this used to be Big Ben time. Ben Roethlisberger. How many times did we see him? 8 seconds left. Still have to be careful here with that clock. Trubisky tosses it. Boswell trying to get it done. Snap, placement, kick on the way. Boswell! That's a winner! Unforgettable season opener! And the Steelers outlast the Bengals.
Whew, man, I'm just appreciative of the efforts of those men. I'm not surprised by the fight. I knew they would fight. I found comfort in that. I wasn't looking for comfort, but I found comfort in that. I just seen enough of that during team development. Obviously, it was a hard-fought game on both sides, man, and it always is when you're in the AFC North. It's good to come down here and get it done today. We'll learn from these lessons, man, and get ready for the next AFC game. And again, just appreciative of the efforts. It wasn't without cost. T.J. Watt's being evaluated with an upper body injury. Naj is being evaluated with a foot injury. Levi Wallace got an ankle injury. Spillane's got an eye injury. But, man, it's just good to come in here in a hostile environment.
And what a wild game indeed, as it is AFC North football on display right there. And guess what, folks? By the way, football is back. A thrilling, unforgettable game yesterday, to say the least, right there. Mike Tomlin gets away and dodges a third tie on his resume. That game would not been decided right there. Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Prodigy Richey. Right now, we are just kicking off here, live here on the Metal Steel podcast here. Show Blitz right now is the post-game show right now, recapping the Steelers' victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. Final score, 23-20. Steelers do get the job done here, and they start off 1-0. Some big takeaways here, I think, just to start off right here. Steelers did go up as many as 17-3 in this contest right here. They managed to be able to hold on and win this game. Almost blew a double-digit lead, a 2-touchdown lead, to say the least. But a lot of that, too, I really felt was not only because of defensive penalties that were committed in this game. I mean, when you break it down right here, I mean, disgusting how, when you look at it, that really kept this game alive right there. Steelers committed 8 penalties for 59 yards, 6 of those for the defense for 39 yards, with the biggest ones going 2 PIs for 15 yards and 2 roughing the passer calls for 13 yards. The offense would have 2 holding calls for about 20 yards in this game. But, I mean, the bigger story, I mean, aside from that, were the penalties in this game. I mean, this game had multiple opportunities to really put the stamp on this game, to really think about it. I mean, they could have been up 21-3 I think at one point or whatever it was just let some valuable points, touchdowns. But none of that, just the third down conversions I thought were the killer in all this right here. I mean, Mitch Trubisky right here, when you break down the film of the tape right here, hey, look at what Trubisky is tried doing. I mean, you got a mobile quarterback, but he went 21-38, only completing 55% of his passes. Not really that impressive in that aspect, but more importantly, 3 for 13 on third down passing attempts. 3 of 13 right there. Problematic. Team as a whole went 4 of 15 in that category, converting, trying to go for third down attempts. He did get one running with his legs for 6 yards with 3 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter. I mean, you look at the Bengals on the other side of like what they will do in that stat in the third down conversions, because those are drive killers right there. I mean, when you really break it down right here, the Bengals, on the other hand, in this game, converted 50% of their conversions, going 8 of 16 right there. They were 57% going 4-7 at the end of the half right there, and they converted 4 of 9 in the second half. It wasn't until the second half the Steelers were able to start getting the first down, starting to move the gains right here. I mean, in the first half, they were 0 for 4 in that, and that was all passing attempts, let's not forget, by Trubisky, as I mentioned. And then went 4 of 11 in the second half. So to finish out 4 of 15, 27%. Trubisky, don't get me wrong. I think Mike Thomas is going to stick with him for a little bit longer. Don't get me wrong. But when you start continuing to perform like this, I don't care who you are at this point in time. Mike Thomas ain't going to make a harsh decision just like that. But I think in time, if this continues to happen right here, I think you will see kind of like what happened with Mason Rudolph last year. I mean, like when he filled in for Ben, beginning with the 49ers game up until the Bengals game a week after that Thursday night fiasco with the Browns right there on the road in Cincinnati that couldn't get anything going. They benched him for Devlin Duck Hodges, who did a real good job. I mean, basically just managing the ball and now allowing any like crucial turnovers. Mike Thomas said at that point in time, I felt like the offense needed a spark. I think that could still possibly happen with Trubisky. I mean, nonetheless, Mitch Trubisky right now, he goes to his career, in his football career, as a starter to 30-21 win-loss record. I mean, he does get the win right there. Credit to him for a significant pass. I think when you look at it in overtime, I mean, he had some good moments throughout this game. I think one of my favorite plays in here, too, I mean, what he had, I mean, when you really think about this game, you dissect it right here. I mean, I think my favorite pass of the game was a flea flicker, I believe it was right there, where he was able to connect to Pat Freiermuth for 31 yards from the Bengals 34-yard line right there. That spotted them up nicely. First and goal right there. They had at least 3 opportunities to cash in from the 3-yard line. In that setup right there, they had 2 of 3 running plays in that sequence right there, and 1 passing attempt where they only managed to get 1 yard out of all that. I mean, one of them too. I mean, in that, I mean, they got pushed back for a yard, which Najee Harris tried to get on second and goal at the 1-yard line. That right there, you have to put the stamp on it. That could have been 14-3 right there. And then not only that, too, you could probably have been up 21-3. Multiple opportunities to put this team away right here. I mean, the way they started off, and you just saw the injuries just pile up throughout this game. I mean, and this is a crazy stat here, too. I mean, according to right here, one of the statisticians on Twitter, I didn't get a chance to look them up, but they were saying that they became the first team with the Steelers did, where they have 5 turnovers total, all 5 of which coming off courtesy of Joe Burrow right there. 4 interceptions for a +5 ratio, 7 sacks, and a pick 6 in the same game since the Falcons did it 20 years ago in Week 12 of 2002. I mean, that is amazing right there. I mean, and when you really sum it up right here, I mean, just to see all his hard work, I mean, what was Mike Tomlin's biggest phrase been is like he loves being uncomfortable right here. I mean, when you piece it all together. And to be honest, yeah, I mean, that is right there the true definition of a coach. 5 ways to win. But I'm not gonna lie. I was just thinking to myself, and I'm sure I want to see anyone raise your hand, Steeler Nation, who was watching that game. Did anyone think that was going to end in another tie, a third one, a tie in back-to-back years? A year ago versus the Lions, and then 3 years prior to that, on the road against the Browns. And guess what? They also had 7 sacks in that game, in command of that game right there, where James Conner was filling in for the holdout Le'Veon Bell, who did not come to terms with the Steelers on a new deal right there. Money he was seeking guarantees, and so James Conner was inserted, and there was a little blow up leading into that game right there. So they also had 7 sacks in that game, but managed to end in a tie. But at the end of the day, I tell you what, I mean, you look at the things at the bottom right here. So many missed opportunities in this game. But I mean, I tell you what, the Bengals right now, when you're watching this game, you invest money into some pass protection for Joe Burrow. To be honest, you know what? I'm not sure if it's really so much the offensive line. I'm really starting to think Joe Burrow, too. I mean, the way they're swarming on him, he's not getting rid of the ball quicker from what I could tell. I mean, defense pass rush is getting to him quick and putting a lot of pressure to make him move around. But I mean, when you consider all this right here, I mean, what they've been able to do 7 times, dropping them for a loss of 39 yards, at 338 yards passing on the day right there, and where that brought him down to as a team for 299 yards passing. The biggest disappointment, I mean, that was unforgivable in this game. I mean, when you look at it too, I mean, the running offense by the Steelers was shut down by a phenomenal Bengals run defense. Remember, the Steelers were dead last in defending the run. Bengals came into this game with the 5th best unit from a year ago, and you see why right there. I mean, just how many times. Najee Harris, I mean, who could not get anything going. He did have the touchdown reception, touchdown pass from Mitch Trubisky right there. I mean, which eventually did pull him up 14 or 17-3. And it was just disappointing. The Steelers left this team hanging around. I think the Bengals are still a very well talented team, but you continue to see why the Bengals will continue to show you why they're not that serious as a team. I'm not sure if I'm really sold on them going back to the Super Bowl. Now, Grant, this is only one game. I mean, a lot of people, including myself right now, are watching this game back. You got to remind yourselves what happened last year when they were on the road in Buffalo versus the Bills right there. I mean, they won a game gradually where they surged ahead in the second half and stuff. But I mean, still, I mean, look at how that finished. Bills still managed to win the AFC East, make it as far and losing in a thriller in the divisional round in overtime to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, so there's still a lot of time for this team to really figure this season out right now. But for the most part, everyone in the AFC North is a winner, with the exception of the Bengals right now. They now find themselves in last place right now, going into this as we look at it. Steelers right now, by the way, first place on account of tiebreakers for right now. And the Ravens are in second. Browns are in third place. But again, it's only the first game of the season. I'd like to hear your thoughts right now. This is Charles Prize Richie right now. Once again, you guys can follow me on social media on Twitter at MassSteelCR and on Instagram at MassSteelNation. What a thrilling way to conclude this first week of action, to be honest with you. I thought this was some great football this weekend. I mean, you look at it right here. I mean, just right now, the Monday Night Football game just wrapped up with the debut of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman for the new voices of Monday Night Football on ESPN and ABC. And of course, ESPN too. You got the Manning brothers right there with Peyton and Eli doing their own remote commentary on the game with special guests throughout that calling it. But I gotta say, I mean, this was definitely a fun week. I'm not gonna lie, I had tears rolling down my eyes yesterday. I was really almost about ready to start bawling, not like sobbing like that, but just like tears being choked down because the way how they slowly broke apart, and then two, just the injuries right here. I mean, the biggest one right now, coming into this right now. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, TJ Watt right now, speaking of the injury report, he's going to get a second and third opinion about his torn pectoral muscle. It's still maybe a partially torn pectoral muscle, from what we can tell. But Adam Schefter was saying that tomorrow they're going to find out. Right now, the doctors will determine if he needs surgery. If he needs surgery, his season is over. If not, he could possibly return in 6 weeks, is what we're looking at. So definitely, I mean, when you think about almost a month and a half, so probably like around November, if we're to look and see when this team will be able to return. I mean, TJ Watt be able to help out, but you got some guys on this team right now. I mean, who the Steelers did after insurance policy going into this. I mean, one of the guys that they did have on here was Malik Reed, who the Steelers acquired via trade from the Broncos. Malik Reed says he hasn't been told how things will change for him, specifically after Watt's injury, but added he was told his role would be expanding, filling in for him right now. Malik Reed, let's get to him right now, who's a new Steeler on this team right now, who came over from Denver. He started 34 out of 46 games. He has a total of 15 sacks in his career, was career high coming 2 years ago with 8, and where he had 17 quarterback hits. He also has a career high in tackles that year with 53 right there. So his career highs came 2 years ago. And this is a guy right here who came undrafted right here out of Nevada. And he's in his fourth year right now at the age of 26. And let's see how much he could do right now. Right now, next man up, of course. I mean, with that, I mean, the injuries following this game. I mean, it was just definitely a mess. But then if you look at TJ Watt's timeline for return, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not the first week after their bye, the second game. Ironically, how fitting would it be that he would return against the Bengals on a Sunday night football game at Acrisure Stadium, 8:20 p.m. Eastern time kickoff for that game. We'll see. And I got to tell you for right now, let's see how the Steelers do. Look, you know what? There's been a lot of talk right now, too. It's like if TJ Watt is out, season's most likely over. We know there's no way his talent, his impact can be replaced. But however, let's remind you, too, I mean, 3 years ago, One guy, Ben Roethlisberger, also injured his throwing elbow. He was sidelined for the season. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff to consider. The only thing I will say, the pushback, if he is out for the season, remember the defense was able to carry this team throughout that stretch for a very weak offense that was towards the bottom of the league and running the ball. And of course, when you have no legit quarterback except maybe for Mace Rudolph, who's slowly being groomed that season, that's the problem. You would basically need to ask a lot more out of your offense too to really step up their game to kind of give the defense some relief. Because remember, the defense was winning a lot of turnover battles that year for the Steelers. I mean, when you look at the rhythm, they finally got going that season. Back in 2019, their turnover ratio for that year was +8. They had 38 takeaways altogether, 20 of them coming from interceptions, 18 fumble recoveries during that year. And then also, too, I mean, with Fitzmagic, too, coming in there, they also had pick six, which they haven't had in almost 8 years almost. No, excuse me, 5 years at that point. I want to say the last one prior to that was 2014, which is by Will Gay against the Colts the late Sunday afternoon game. So, I mean, when you think about it, too, it's like you really need something to get going because the thing is, too, on the other side, though, too, the other injury, because that when Mike Tom was saying about Watt's injury, was that he was being evaluated for an upper body injury. He came off the field a couple plays later with his injury and went straight to the locker room shortly after. Remember, this was during the fourth quarter right there where he got flagged with legal use of hands to the face right there in that game right there. And like I said, once again, the penalties right there. I mean, the legal use of hands, that was a 5-yard penalty right there. But it was just at this point, I mean, we talk about how they need to do a much better job being disciplined on offense this year. Defense penalties were just killer in this game. I mean, no excuses. This game should have been over. Joe Burrow is a special cat. I get it. But the more this guy continues to take hits and the way he hangs around, that's fine. But the more and more you're going to keep getting sacked. He's threatening his career possibly being shortened down the road. And I'm not sure if you're a Bengals fan, you want to keep seeing get taken down like that. I mean, yeah, people are probably screaming, where's line protection? But he also has to look in the mirror and try and find a way to get rid of that ball quicker at the end of the day. And we are going to find out right now. I mean, once again, Mike Tomlin, his coaching coming up. And as for Najee Harris, too, who had a foot injury in that game, also in the fourth quarter when they're trying to run out the clock with under a minute to go, Najee Harris, according to Adam Schefter, test on his foot came back negative. And the belief is that he should be good to go this Sunday for the home opener versus the Patriots right there. So that's some great news right there because I got to be honest, Jeff. Don't get me wrong. TJ Watt is the bigger of the two stars right here. No question about it. But I think more importantly, Najee Harris will be slightly more significant. We already know the impact that TJ Watt can make on defense, be a game changer for this team. I mean, not only getting after the quarterback, forcing turnovers too right there. I mean, a guy who's also proven he could score with the ball too. He did that in the playoffs versus Chiefs, despite a slow motion offense right there with lack of mobile. Ben Roethlisberger in that playoff loss to the Chiefs. But again, I think Najee Harris I was more concerned for slight because, I mean, yeah, we already know that TJ Watt at this point is going to be injury prone going forward. Something we're going to have to get used to. The writing has been on the wall last season when he was playing hurt after he got his fully guaranteed contract, his money right there. I mean, you just saw him playing like last year with a groin injury and stuff. He had to play through multiple times. and then just this year, possibly a torn pec. It's just, unfortunately, the way his style is and the way he's been going after so long, uh, they're starting to tank up on him right there. I love the guy, but at the same time, I'm almost got to hold my breath going forward. How much longer can he really, his availability be there for this team, especially on the defense right now? They got a lot of stuff to look at, but I mean, you look at everybody in this game too, who really did a phenomenal job in this game right here. I mean, of course, I think Fitzpatrick was definitely the top guy, but you also look at two guys who really showed up in true form on the defensive side of the ball. Miles Jack making a nice fine debut right here. Second leading tackler in this game right here at 6 solo right here. 1 tackle for loss. Half pass deflection right there. Playing at that right inside linebacker position, I believe it is, on the defense right there, opposite Devin Bush, who's playing left on here. He had 10 total tackles, like I said, a tackle for loss, pass deflection. When you look at a guy that's so crucial, I mean, from one of the aspects they look for, see if they can drop in the pass coverage right there. Also, too, Alex Highsmith right there. 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits right there. This guy is truly becoming a student of the game as an edge rusher right now, little by little right here. And then you just look at all the interceptions right here. I mean, Minka, Cam, Sutton, that is, Watt, and Akilla Witherspoon right here. 4 interceptions for 31 yards in here. I mean, in this game. And like I said, it would have just been heartbreaking to lose the game on this. And then Burrow being responsible for all 5 of those turnovers. 4 picks plus a lost fumble. It was just incredible. I mean, just to see him possibly lose that game. I mean, when they tied the game up as the game clock expired, 20-all. I mean, I think they had a different long snapper, if I'm not mistaken, who came into that game. But man, how important is that to make sure you got the right guy properly handling things? Just goes to show you right there. Mika Fitzpatrick took advantage of it. Did an excellent job blocking that thing. And guess what? We get extra time once again. But man, oh man, this was a game. I'm glad it was a decision. I was thinking to myself yesterday, either slit my throat or give me a deep hug. I mean, win or lose this game, just do not end a tie. I will have taken the loss. I did not want a tie. I'm sorry. I did not want to see that on Mike Tomlin's resume right there. Because I tell you what, I think Mika Fitzpatrick definitely went from GOAT, not the GOAT we think of in today's day and age, but the old style GOAT, wearing GOAT horns, to hero. And he had a spectacular game in this contest right here, which leads me to my game balls right now. Game ball on defense. Mika Fitzpatrick led both teams with 14 tackles. He had the opening score in this game, a pick 6, and then later on the block extra point attempt at the end of regulation right there, which set it in overtime right there. I mean, you being paid the top highest safety in the offseason, that honor's been taken by the Chargers right now, but still, I mean, see how valuable he continues to be for this team right here. So you got to give it up for Mika yesterday. And of course, me representing his jersey, 39 years old. Hey, first special 39. In my 30s, I'll ride and die with this guy right here, Mika Fitzpatrick. Game ball and offense. Even though the offense didn't really have much to show for it, I mean, in today's game, when you look at it, I mean, for this game right here, I mean, which is incredibly disturbing, Steelers only had 267 yards to show for it on total offense, being outgained by 165 yards. So the defense gave up a total of 432 yards in this game, averaging only 4.4 yards per play. Bengals 4.6. But the good news is the Steelers did have 2 touchdowns, 3 field goals to answer. Just the penalties and the lack of third down conversions, unacceptable. That has got to get better right there. But like I said, if I'm going to give a game ball on offense, I'm going to give it to Mitch Trubisky. Reason why he gets his first win as a starter with the Steelers to start off with. Plus, this is his second win in 2 years, which, by the way, he also had a road victory on the road in Jacksonville. And don't forget, too, that end of that year, I mean, he was also benched for Nick Foles when he was a member of the Chicago Bears. And when you had Laser, who was doing the offensive play calling for Nagy's staff as the offensive coordinator, Mitch Trubisky was able to find his way back into the lap, and they started, I think, beginning with a win over the Texans, I want to say, that year. But in the end, he was able to get that team to the playoffs. Not really much to show for it in the playoffs, but they were one and done in the wild card round versus Saints. But yeah, he now goes 30-21 as a starter. I mean, he did only average 5.1 yards per pass attempt. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the biggest plays that's really got to stand out is the trick play right there, the flea flicker. That was to a Pat Fryer move where he had a nice game right there. And that was once again a 31-yard pass to Fryer move right there. Then, of course, the one in overtime, which set up the game-winning 53-yard field goal attempt right there. Trubisky on 3rd and 1, he was able to connect with, once again, guess who? Pat Fryer moved for 26 yards. And then there was a penalty on top of that defense where the defense was offside. So that was a free play regardless. But either way, they were able to get out, escape, thank God, with the W. And stay tuned throughout the week. I'll be tweeting right here. I'm going to be doing the show. I'm going to try and do it on Saturday and Sundays for right now. But I'll try and, if something comes up, I'll see if I can do one on Wednesday. But for right now, Wednesday or Thursday. But for right now, let's just keep our fingers crossed out for TJ Watt. Either way, comes back or not, just get used to the fact this guy is have more injuries down the road, unfortunately. He's going to still be an impactful player, but there's going to be limits, or if he's willing to play for the pain, I don't know. But just keep our prayers and hopes right now. This ain't like Ben Roethlisberger 3 years ago where he's out for the season. Let's hope that's not the case. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get ready to get this win versus the Patriots in the new Acrisure Stadium for the home opener. It'll still be Forever Hines. Don't get me wrong. But as I always leave you, don't be trolling, be rolling. Here we go, serials. Here we go. I got it. Thank you for watching the Mass Steel podcast with your host, Charles Prodigy Richey, here on YouTube. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for all the latest Mass Steel podcast episodes, feel free to download them on Mixcloud, Anchor.fm, and SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts.